Oh
let's
my
talk
God.
a little bit about this man in the machine who lived in the machine for 71 years. He eats like this, he reads like this, and he writes on the computer with his mouth like this. So his name is Paul Richard Alexander, and he is called the man in the iron lung. So this man, he was a normal child, like growing up normally. And one day when he was playing outside with his friends like this, he started feeling unwell, and he went and told his mom. So he was taken to the hospital, and they discovered that he had polio. And mind you, back then, polio had no vaccine, not like today. So when you have polio, things, your lungs collapse and you cannot breathe and all of that, you start being paralyzed. We know a lot of people who have polio who are now paralyzed. So the only remedy they had back then was to put the children in this machine. So he was put in the machine, and many of the people died. He was the only survivor who was living, who had polio back then, that lived for 71 years, and he died recently. So he's a great man. So in this condition, he wrote a book. Even he traveled around the world. He acquired a lawyer degree. He even stood in court for people. In that machine, he win cases for people. You see. So this was a very resilient man, and he has a unique story that it's good to tell about him. It's good to remember him and talk about him. So this is how he was. And if it was now, he will be having like a breathing ventilator on him, a breathing machine. But he didn't want to have that because his mouth was like his leg, it was like his hand. He used his mouth to do everything. So he used his mouth to write, he used his mouth to read, he used his mouth to communicate. So he didn't want a ventilator in his mouth. So Paul was in this machine for 71 years, but he toured around the world and did a lot of remarkable things that he will be remembered for that. So this machine works in a way that it helps him to breathe. So one day, his nanny told him that if he can breathe out of the machine, if he can try exercise to breathe out of the machine, he's going to give him a puppy. He's going to buy him a puppy. So he tried until he succeeded. And after that, the sky could not limit him. He flew around the world. He acquired his degree. He did a lot of things on his bucket list that he wanted to do. So this is a great man and a very, very interesting story that I thought that I could come here and share his story. If it was now, he was supposed to be like trapped in a ventilator. He even wrote the book, but he used his mouth to do everything. You see, he's typing with his mouth. He wrote this book, 3 minutes for a dog. Like, that's what the nanny told him. If you can breathe out of the machine for 3 minutes, I'm going to buy you a dog. And he did that and even breathed for long. He started exercising and doing it better. So we should remember polio, kick polio away. And how do you kick polio away? Kick polio away by taking your vaccine. So this is how the machine works. It presses air in and forces lung to take in air, and then when you release the air, it goes out. So it's like an inspiration, expiration, like the way we breathe in, out. You see, in, out. That's how the machine works. It helps him to breathe. So this is Paul, and unfortunately, we lost Paul. He died on 11th of March 2024.